All right, down here at the bottom position on Crossfire. He is a player who showed us how to defend DTs and put on some pressure afterwards. He is...
Byun.
His opponent up here at the top side of Crossfire, a very interesting and innovative Protoss.
Alicia.
One of our newer, I almost want to say up and coming player, but I almost want to say he up and came. He came here and he just been showing us great results all over the place. One of our fans, man, he's brought a lot of signs here to the GSL. He's showing everyone what he thinks, all the foreign fans, all the Korean fans. They're going to get to see what he thinks. If you come down here to the studio and you make a sign, almost guaranteed they will show it. All right, so Alicia is not going to be fast expanding on this map, and I'll tell you why. It's almost impossible to do. Your opponent can use the middle of the map, and I keep talking about the map architecture. Well, Wolf, what are you talking about the map architecture? Well, the middle of the map has a lot of high ground areas, cliffs, and small narrow choke points, as you saw that probe going up there. If you push with bunkers and siege tanks very carefully, it's really easy to contain that natural. So a lot of players on this map, I think, should start choosing to put on some aggression and then expand. And as you can see back in Byun's base, with his probes going to see as well, he's taking gas, so he's not going to be fast expanding either. And I think he knows the best build to do on this map, TVP, is to go for that timing attack with tanks, banshees, ravens, whatever you can squeeze out off of one base and just pressure your opponent if he expands. And if he doesn't, then you just kind of expand behind that user siege tanks to do somewhat of a siege expand. It's a pretty common build on this map. In fact, you almost always see a build like that on this map in this matchup from the Terran. Now, I'm more interested to see what Alicia is going to do, because this map doesn't lend itself... You can't do any sort of build on this map. You have specific builds you have to do. 4-gate is one of the builds you can do, especially when your opponent... If you think your opponent's going to do that very fast factory tech timing attack. But actually, well, hold that thought. Byun comes in here again. It's the sneaky SCV. He's coming in here for his second visit. The guys at the front, the Alicia probes are like, let me see that passport. Come here a few times. What are you doing here? Come here. Are you telling people about what's in our base? Alright, so Byun is actually going to make a reactor, and he's going to, looks like, do a 2 barracks expand, so he's not doing the build that I expected him to do. And I'm really serious. I know you guys are thinking, like, Wolf thinks there's only one way to play this map. It's not actually true, but I've seen every single Terran versus Pros I've seen on this map has been that similar build with tanks, Marines, bunkers, sometimes Banshees, sometimes a Raven. Every single time. This is, like, the first time I've not seen that build on this map since it's come into common use. Alright, so Alicia back at home. He has actually added a Stargate, which is pretty smart. He's going to most likely just put on some pressure with a Void Ray, maybe some Stalkers at the front, and then once that kind of phases out, he's just going to continue to make Phoenixes out of that Stargate. Phoenixes give a pretty good amount of map control, because if your opponent moves out, you can just kill his SCVs, force him to make turrets. You can also shut down drops completely. When your opponent goes Phoenixes, the last thing that you want to do as a Terran player is go drops. It's the last thing you want to do. Like, it's so risky. If he finds my dropship, he doesn't even have to micro his Phoenixes. Phoenixes just right-click move next to my dropship, and the dropship will die. So, it's really interesting and effective opening when you scout that your opponent isn't going for that factory tech, because Banshees can straight up kill you sometimes. Now, it is going to be a Void Ray first, like I said. Chrono boosting that out, wants to get out ASAP. And again, hiding his pylon in a very similar place. And uh-oh, Byun's going to be moving out on the map when this happens. Now, if Alicia controls this properly... Uh-oh, he did get concussive shells just in time, but oh, Alicia pulls that Stalker away. That's some good reaction time. If you get shelled twice, your Stalker does not go home. Alicia pulled just in time. Now, if Alicia can isolate this small group of units with some good force steals and a Void Ray and pick off these units, that means when he attacks again with that forward pylon, Byun is just not going to have that many troops. I'm actually really surprised that Byun is being so aggressive with this build. You don't actually have to do that much aggression when you do this type of build. Marine wants to run up there and see what's up there, sees several sentries. It's going to make Byun want to turn around. Now, Alicia can get a little bit aggressive now if he wants to. Try to warp in some units of that forward pylon to kind of flank and trap the units of Byun in the middle of the map. Byun going to go ahead and make that natural now, and Alicia not going to show his Void Ray, going to make a second one. This could work out well or poorly for Alicia. It kind of just depends on how many Marauders Byun makes, and if he makes bunkers as natural, and where he makes them. A lot of this is going to come down to unit control. You know, if you go for the build that Byun's doing, you can absolutely hold this, but you can absolutely lose to it as well if you don't control properly, if you don't make bunkers, or if your bunkers are made in a bad place. Sometimes you can alternately make missile turrets if you're prepared for that, but he has no idea what Alicia is doing. He's got to be thinking, okay, something fishy is going on. You haven't expanded yet. You don't have that many units. What's going on? Does spot the Void Rays, though, at that Xel'Naga Watchtower with the Marine. Those units getting chased down actually in the middle of the map. Gonna try to make a concave at the top of their ramp. That's very smart, but there may be too many Alicia units here. Oh, Alicia force fields those units. Oh, nice. Traps several of those units. They're going to be cut off, and now when those force fields fall, he's not going to have that many units. There are a lot of SCVs coming out to repair this one bunker, though. It's going to have to be targeted down if Alicia wants to kill him with this attack. There are so many SCVs out here to repair that bunker. You may want to warp in just a few more units just to make sure they can take that bunker out in one fell swoop. But actually, he's going to break down the backdoor rocks and go into the main instead. And Byun realizes this is what's happening. He does see that the rocks are losing hit points. He's going to try to make a bunker, but I'm not sure if he can do it in time. In fact, he's not even going to make a bunker. Byun might be dead, guys, because he doesn't have that many units, and a bunch of Zealots, Sentries, and Void Rays are going to run in here in a second. The rocks are dead. He's going to throw up that Guardian Shield. Here he goes. Oh, a little bit indecisive by Alicia. But he's, of course, forcing Byun to lose so much mining time. Meanwhile, he's warping in more units at the other side. Now all the SCVs and units are over there. If he force fields the ramp, is he going to force field the ramp? He does force field the ramp. And now Byun is in trouble because all of his units are trapped inside. He has enough energy to keep force fielding those units in there. Oh man, Byun is so dead. This is checkmate, ladies and gentlemen. This is what checkmate means. That was a beautiful strategy by Alicia. Pulled all of Byun's units back into his base. Force fielded the ramp. That was art. That's maybe one of the coolest things I've ever seen the GSL ever. Beautiful move by Alicia. Byun is in so much trouble. He doesn't even have his supply depots up. And Alicia picking off these depots here at the front, going to eventually supply block Byun. He's got so many units. Byun only has those 2 barracks. He actually is forced to call down supplies to make units. Throwing down some force fields. He's going to try to take out the units very carefully and slowly here. That wasn't the most careful and slow move forward I've ever seen, but he's trying now. Notice he's not overcommitting to these attacks, just picking off units here and there. He has made a nexus at the gold base during all of this, so he's going to transfer probes there eventually. And at the very least, he's killed a lot of SCVs. It's 31 probes to 25 SCVs right now, and he's picking off units left and right. And he's killed the tech lab as well, so there will be no stim. Oh, I take it back. Stim already finished. Some good force fields here. Some nice control by Byun. It might not be enough, though. This is a very tense moment. Remember, Byun still has that command center inside of his base. He wants to move down, but he can't. He may want to think about moving that command center to a hidden expansion and dropping mules there if this contain continues. Oh man, Alicia doing such a good job. That force field at the ramp was just so beautiful. I couldn't even contain myself. Like, I just had to scream about it. Alright, so it looks like Byun may try to break out here. He's moving a lot of SCVs forward. It's not a good idea that there's just so many sentries with force field energy. Now the gold base of Alicia is up. The probes are being transferred there now. Oh, it looks like Alicia's going to go around the back again. Just trying to catch Byun out of position, but Byun smartly has repositioned his army every time he knows, okay, you're not at the front, you must be at the side. He wants to make sure that Byun doesn't break down that side as well. Now he's going to run up here. He's got so many stalkers, some good force fields. Guardian Shield goes up to keep his units alive a little bit longer. Void Ray's doing a lot of damage, and now the Marines are isolated at the front of the cliff where the stalkers can outrange them. Alicia just looking so good. Byun looking so dead because he's just losing so many units. His medevacs are running out of energy. Those Marines are low on hit points. With 1 or 2 more rounds of units, I think he will end the game, or he may try to do it now. Trying to pick off those Marines. He's trying to draw Byun's army to the side of the cliff. Of course, the Void Rays give vision of the high ground. The Stalkers outrange the Marines. So that's kind of the complicated dance that we're seeing here. He's trying to use that Hellion to pick off some of these sentries, but it may not work. There's just too many Stalkers here, even with Stim. It looks like this is going to be the end for Byun. And I gotta say, I feel sorry for him getting all-in out of this Super Tournament. He's held off some all-ins in the past, but not this one. GG. If you're gonna all in, that is how you do it. And then Alicia. Byun got to be feeling frustrated. He's got his head looking down. He did that. He had that same exact type of expression after he lost the first game. And you know, it's funny how a lot of people out there, I know a lot of players and spectators and people on TL probably posting the forums right now going, you know, when Byun beats you in a straight-up game, you know, it looks bad for Alicia if he all-ins and wins. You know, a lot of people are going, what a cheeser, what an all-inner. But if you lose a straight-up macro game, you know, you try to do a D2 expand, your opponent's just so ready for that, and you lose a macro game, you've got to be thinking in your head, it might be smart to not play a macro game with this guy. This guy might have better macro than me, so it was a nice strategy. Really interesting to use on Crossfire. I didn't think that we'd see a build like that from Byun at all, but turns out we did. And it turns out also that if you do really good control and you split your forces really well and kind of bounce back and forth, there's a Slayer's Alicia sign now. It's that same that same figure from earlier. I don't know if you guys can see the pictures by. I can't really read it. But anyway, going for an all-in like that and executing it like Slayer's Alicia did was beautiful. And I can't stress to you guys enough, he pulled all of the forces. I know you guys didn't have a full shot of it until it happened, but he pulled all of Byun's forces over to the backdoor rocks. Then he warped one sentry in at his pylon. Then he moved around and force fielded those in. All right, we're going to have an interview with Alicia right now. Here's our interviewer.
프로토스 선수가 탄생을 했습니다. 양조식 선수입니다. 네, 축하드립니다. 소감 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
네. 저희 팀 멤버들이 전부 다 16강에 올라가서 숙소에만 있으면 이제 막 너무 자랑을 해서가지고 너무 부담감이 심했는데 올라가서 너무 기쁘고요. 좀 어려운 점도 있었지만.
All of our teammates are in the round of 16.
말씀해 주셔서 그런데 황도영 선수가 인터뷰에서 그런 얘기를 했거든요. 이제 양조식 선수만 잘하면 된다. 그렇기 때문에 더욱더 부담감이 많으셨을 것 같아요. 오늘 경기에서.
네, 그 숙소에서 황도영 선수가 황도영 선수를 비롯한 16강에 올라간 선수들이 저를 항상 너만 남았다. 이제 16강 너만 올라가면 된다고 항상 부담감을 줘서 이제 저는 좀 솔직히 그냥 그때 웃고 있었는데 부담감이 상당히 심했어요.
Other players were telling him, you know, beforehand, like, you're the only guy left who hasn't made it to the round of 16, so you better make it.
5명의 선수가 모두 16강에 진출을 했습니다. 굉장히 기쁘실 것 같아요.
네, 그리고 이제 프로토스가 16강이 하나도 없어가지고 이제 프로토스 팬분들이 저를 많이 믿고 계시더라고요.
네.
그것 때문에도 열심히 했고요. 상당히 기쁩니다.
자, 그렇습니다. 그럼 마지막으로 팬분들, 특히나 이제 전 세계 프로토스를 응원해주시는 팬분들께 마지막으로 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
He said that the Protoss fans were really cheering for him because there aren't that many Protosses left in round 16.
다현입니다. 요한이 형 항상 감사합니다.
네, 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 양준식 선수 만나봤습니다.
For his teammates. So that's that very modest and nice interview by Alicia. Well executed attack. I can't stress it enough. But Byun, you haven't seen the last of him. He is in Code S still, so you'll be seeing him next month. He plays in the Code S, so we'll see. Maybe he gets his revenge on Alicia because they may meet each other one way or another in Code S in the future. And that's what I love about Starcraft 2. There's all these storylines because we have so many different tournaments, and it's like a worldwide thing. You know, no longer is it just in Korea like Brood War was really. There's this huge worldwide scene going on all over, thanks to organizations like the GSL and MLG and IEM and DreamHack and all that stuff. So you've got this huge worldwide scene. There's all this drama. I'm really excited about it. It makes me happy. So we'll see, though, if Alicia and Byun meet each other again. I would be excited to see it because that was some exciting games just to start with the first time we met each other. By the way, I am Wolf. By the way, I'm on the team FXO, as you can see by my shirt a little bit here. You can follow me at FXO Wolf. You can follow GOMTV at GOMTV. Just wanted to give you guys those names. We're gonna have a 2-minute break though, so I'll see you guys for our last series, Maka versus SC, in just a minute.
Blah blah, let's get down to business. Yeah, I don't play around when the club shuts down. I'm a zombie out to kill this. Yeah, midnight mashing, no mansion, holiday inn, champagne splashing. Rewind with the parties, movement, the frank music. We